Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to talk about the physical anatomy of the thalamus. This is the class number 3, and the class number 1 we had already discussed about the physical anatomy of the brainstem, and the class number 2 we have discussed about the physical anatomy of the cerebellum. But this is the class number 3. Okay. So what is the physiology of the thalamus? What is the anatomy of the thalamus? Okay. What is thalamus? Thalamus is a huge mass of gray matter. It is oval shape, egg-like shape. Thalamus is an oval shape, egg-like shape structure which is present above the midbrain and cover the third ventricle at some level. Okay, this is the mass of gray matter. What is mean by gray matter? One is white matter, another is gray matter. White matter is a group of axon, while gray matter is a group of the cell body of the axon. Okay, as we know that from the previous classes, this is the spinal cord. This is the lateral posterior view. This is the uh, this is the suppose this is the posterior view of my hand. This is the ventral view, but this is the lateral posterior view, or this one. This is the lateral posterior view. Okay, so this is the lateral posterior view of the CNS. Okay, so this is the spinal cord. This is the central canal of the spinal cord. This one is the medulla. This is the fon, and this is the port ventricle, as we know that from previous classes. Okay, so this is the lateral view. This is the complete lateral view. Okay, such like this. This is the fon. This is the medulla. This is the cerebellum. This one is the midbrain, and there is the one thalami is here on the midbrain, and one thalami is here on the midbrain. Okay, so and there is the third ventricle. So this is the posterior lateral view. This is the midbrain, this one, and this is the cerebral aqueduct of the midbrain. So when we start moving from this point, this is the central canal of the spinal cord, and to go upward. So we reach this side. This is the fourth ventricle. The fourth ventricle is the ventricle of the fon and the medulla from the previous classes. Okay, so this is the fourth ventricle. When we pass fon and the medulla, then we reach the midbrain. This is the midbrain, and when we go in this opening in this canal, so this is the cerebral aqueduct. Cerebral aqueduct is the canal and the midbrain. These all channel, these all canal are filled with cerebrospinal fluid. Okay, so when we reach at this site, this is the third ventricle, and then from third ventricle, lateral ventricle is arise. One is arise at this point, and one is arise at this point. So lateral ventricle, one lateral ventricle occupy one cerebrum, and another occupy another cerebrum. So this is the third ventricle. So the thalamus is a mass. Thalamus are two in number. Is a mass of the gray matter which is present on the midbrain. As we know that this is the midbrain. The midbrain have two lobes. One lobe, another lobe. One cerebral peduncle, this is another cerebral peduncle. So the midbrain is actually look like this one is the two peduncle. Okay, so one thalami is present at one at one part of the midbrain, and another thalami is present on the another part. Okay, so this is the suppose this is the cerebral aqueduct of the midbrain. This is the midbrain. Okay, as you can see, this is suppose this is the cerebral aqueduct, which is covered from each side by the brain tissue. Okay, suppose this is the pencil is the cerebral aqueduct. Okay, or such like this, the hole you see here, this one. Okay, cerebral aqueduct, and there is a on the surface of the midbrain there present a thalami. Okay, so this is one thalami, this is another thalami, and these two thalami connect with each other by interthalamic connection. So the result is that one thalami, another thalami, it produce a whole third ventricle. It produce third ventricle. Okay, This is the more clearly view. This is the midbrain. Okay, this is the, suppose this is the cerebral aqueduct, and the cerebral aqueduct open. This is the cerebral aqueduct open, and to the third ventricle. Okay, this is the third ventricle, just like carton, and this one, these are the, okay. So this is one thalamus. This is, suppose this is the right thalamus. This is the, suppose this is the left thalamus. This is the right thalamus. Okay. So this is the third ventricle, and when we move from this third ventricle forward, forward and downward, forward and downward, there come another structure which is called hypothalamus. Okay. So thalamus, thalamus is present above the midbrain, on the side of the third ventricle, and posteriorly above, posteriorly above, this is the posterior direction, this is the anterior direction, posterior above to the hypothalamus, that we will discuss in the next lecture, in the next Monday. Okay. So this is the hypothalamus. Okay, this is the hypothalamus. Okay, this one is the pineal gland. Pineal gland is the gland which help in the sleeping. It produce melatonin, melatonin hormone. Okay, this is the pineal gland. Pineal gland is present posteriorly. This is present posteriorly, and this is present posteriorly, and it is attached with the wall. These are the walls of the. These are the walls. These are the wall of the third ventricle. So the pineal gland is attached to the wall of the third ventricle and directed posteriorly. Okay. Another structure which is called habinular nuclei. This is one nucleus. This is another nucleus. Okay. So this is the non-thalamic structure. This is non-thalamic structure. These thalamic structure communicate with each other by special fiber. So the pineal gland, these two nuclei, and this fiber combinedly is called epithalamus. It is called epithalamus. Okay. What is epithalamus? What is thalamus? What is hypothalamus? What is epithalamus? What is subthalamus? Thalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus, subthalamus. These are all the part of the diencephalon. One is the telencephalon. Telencephalon, like amygdala, hippocampus, cerebrum is the most largest part. Okay, olfactory bulb, which is present above on the brain. Okay, so these are the telencephalon. But thalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus, subthalamus, these are the diencephalon part. Okay, but the thalamus is the thalamus is the largest part. It covered about the 80% of, it occupy, it make 80% of the diencephalon. Okay, so these structure, two nuclei, habinular nuclei, fiber, and the pineal gland collectively is called the epithalamus. Okay, so this is the general anatomy of the thalamus at this level. Okay, they are present hypothalamus posterior anteriorly to the thalamus. Okay, this hypothalamus, there is the pituitary gland. So this is the posterior direction, this is posterior, this is the anterior side. Okay, they are present, suppose two eye, this is my eye. Okay, there is a optic chiasma. Okay, etc. Okay, so this is the structure, this is the anatomy location of the thalamus. Okay, and when we go forward, then there are present different types of structure of the of the telencephalon, like there present one cerebrum and another cerebrum, that we will discuss in the next classes. Okay, what is the physiology of the thalamus? Thalamus is a relay station. The thalamus is a relay station for all the sensory sensation, for especially for the somatic sensation. All the information coming from the limbs, head, neck, all part. These all information Okay, I stopped the lecture due to some emergency problem. Okay, so the physiology of the thalamus is that this is the relay station. This is the relay station for sensation, all the sensation of the body except the smell. Smell is the only sensation that is not passed from the thalamus. Then all the sensory sensation, all the sensory sensation, especially the somatic sensation, which is coming from the periphery outside of the body. This all sensation first reach to the thalamus. All sensation first reach to the thalamus. Here, this all sensation is processed. This all sensation is processed, and then this sensation is go to the cerebral cortex. Each types of sensation is go to its own controlling center in the cerebral cortex. Therefore, this 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 center and this center, the thalamus, is called the functional gateway of the cerebral cortex, because there the sensation is processed first and then is go toward the cerebral cortex. Each type sensation is go to its own controlling center. There, for this reason, the thalamus is called the functional gateway for the cerebral cortex. Okay, the thalamus is also its own importance in the sexual response. Thalamus have many nuclei, many centers. Some of them control sexual response. Some of them work as a relay station. Okay, some of them work as a. There are also present center for the reflex activity. The reflex activity is also controlled. Some of the reflex activity is also controlled by the uh, thalamus. Okay, so the thalamus consists of many nuclei, each of one control its one function. Okay. The thalamus also consists of the nucleus for the motor activity, like the carrying for the efferent fiber. Efferent fiber carrying a message back to the muscle. So the contraction of the muscle and the relaxation of the muscle is also controlled by contraction of the motor activity is also controlled by the cerebellum, pon, medulla, but these are also controlled by the uh, thalamus. Okay, so these are all about the thalamus, the physical anatomy of the thalamus. Okay, and the next class I will discuss about the huge mass, very huge mass. This is just like a very low level lecture, but the next class I will discuss with a huge lecture for the hypothalamus. This concept is neat at this level only, so this is a very difficult topic. But in the next class, I will discuss the physiology of the uh, hypothalamus in a very big detail. How they maintain, how hypothalamus control water balance, how hypothalamus control endocrine function, growth hormone. These are all discussed how they control body heat regulation. Okay, so this is the shortcut class for the thalamus. Okay, so let's start.